Upon arriving at the parking lot, I sensed something amiss. The outing was intended for family, my spouse, her sister, their parents, our children, all of them. We had meticulously planned this for months. The group chat was filled with anticipation. Yet, there were only 5 uneasy kids present, no adults. My wife's sister, her parents, everyone else was absent. I checked my phone, no missed calls, no messages. My oldest nephew, Connor, looked up at me with a facade of normalcy, but his eyes betrayed his uncertainty. The younger ones, 2 of my own children and 3 from my wife's side, were engrossed in playing in the dirt or kicking the curb, oblivious to anything unusual. "Where is your mother? Where is Aunt Claire?" I inquired, maintaining a level tone. Connor responded with a shrug. "They departed. Said you were coming." I was taken aback. "Departed? Departed where?" He handed me his phone, and I read the message from my wife. "We're going to Hawaii." Standing there in disbelief, the words echoing ominously. I reread the message, but it was no illusion. This was a cruel jest, yet no laughter or jubilation filled the air. No one had leaped out to reveal the prank. The reality was painful and harsh. My wife and her family had disappeared to Hawaii without a trace, leaving 5 children behind, as if they were excess baggage. My heart raced, and I fought to control my breathing. My jaw clenched tightly, knuckles white from gripping the phone. The children watched me intently, their young eyes wide with uncertainty. In that moment, I was the only adult left for them. I placed them in my car, drove them back to my place, and struggled to comprehend the enormity of what had just transpired. I reached out to my wife, but she did not answer. Her sister remained silent as well. A phone call to their mother resulted in a voicemail greeting. In that moment, I was alone, 5 children depending on me, and a life-changing decision to make. I found myself at the kitchen table, flanked by 5 children who had fallen into my care, wrestling with thoughts about the sort of person and mother this situation implied. Wrath swelled in me, not only for myself but for them. They didn't deserve this predicament. It was then that I made the choice to contact Child Protective Services. By morning, they had arrived at our doorstep. The decision wasn't easy, yet it seemed the only viable option available to me. I wasn't their legal guardian, thus keeping them indefinitely was not an option, and I certainly didn't want to be responsible for picking up the pieces once their mothers returned. The social worker exuded kindness, but was firm in her demeanor. The wheels of the process had already been set in motion, and within hours, the kids were moved to emergency care. My 2 biological children remained with me, while I blocked my wife's number and cut off contact with her entire family. A week elapsed before they reappeared on social media. All I saw were pictures of them enjoying sun-kissed skin, sipping tropical beverages, flashing broad grins. After neglecting to mention their children, they left without a trace. On the day of their arrival, I received a call, not from my spouse, but her sister. "What on earth have you done, Jake?" Her tone was stern and enraged. I almost chuckled. "What did I do?" "I looked after your kids," I replied. "It seems you were unable or unwilling to do the same. Have you called Child Protective Services? Are you mad?" I clutched my phone tightly. "No, but if you think you can casually abandon your children with me, giving no warning and flying off to a tropical paradise, then yes, I am somewhat insane." "It was only a few days," she retorted angrily. "We thought you'd be able to handle them." "No, you didn't," I interjected. "You didn't consider it. You didn't inquire. You deserted them." "Don't act so melodramatic," she sneered. "We needed a break. You don't understand." "Oh, I understand," I retorted. "You are selfish. That is what I understand." She continued to rant as I hung up. My wife called next, but I let the call go to voicemail. Afterwards came the texts filled with apologies, excuses, and manipulative emotional appeals. I chose to ignore them all. Upon their arrival, I declined to let them enter. My wife, still glowing from her vacation, stood before me with crossed arms as if I were the issue. Her sister was beside her, tears rimming her eyes, enraged. "You ruined everything." She spat at me. I scrutinized her, and a change occurred within me. Once, I loved this woman. Once, I believed we formed a team. However, in that instant, standing at the doorway, I comprehended the truth. She was no longer recognizable to me, and I had no desire for her to be. "Go away," I said, "if you still have somewhere to go." Her countenance wavered, but I did not await her reply. I closed the door, and in that very moment, I found freedom. It wasn't simple. The divorce was a tangled mess. My children asked questions for which I didn't always possess answers. There were nights when the loneliness seemed unendurable. But do you know what? I never regretted it. I gaze upon my children now, and I am convinced I made the right decision. For love is not about convenience. It isn't about what's easy. It's about being present. I accomplished it.